Gonna try and
Shoot
focus on my game a little, but if I notice any kind of mistakes or anything, I'll call them out. Don't worry if I'm calling you out. We're all learning here, right? To err is to be
Make me the head
human.
mod so I can ban Chris.
I'm gonna give him two more 6. I'm gonna give him 2 more 6-7 memes, and then afterwards I'm banning him myself. Oh my god, it's so long. Holy shit.
Fuck you, Deefy.
T. Chris, we have some new people in the stream. Please try to be courteous. No F-bombs. You fucker. Got him! Oh. So one thing that I like to do, and one thing you should probably get used to doing, is whenever you get any kind of sea or water access, is to send as many random boats to like further away places as you can, preferably to wilderness, not to like bots or nations or players, because they will be notified about you attacking them. The reason behind that is, whenever you're done with attacking bots, you will have staging points for your further attacks. Let's say you have some random ass player somewhere further away being very weak, a very good target for you to attack. And if you have a boat sent somewhere close by, you'll be able to attack them a lot easier. Or let's say a player takes over that area, you can then pop up like a cancer and take them out, basically. So it just gives you more options, basically, to attack others. Now, in the early game, your goal is to get as many bot kills as possible. Preferably if you can annex them, which means surrounding the bot completely, and finishing them off without even attacking. You'll get all the troops. Basically, you won't use any troops to take out a bot completely. And that's a very, very lucratively profitable thing. You'll notice that some of the enemies are nations and some of the enemies are bots. Nations usually have flags next to their names. Nations are a lot more difficult to take out, so that should be your latest priority. You should try and first of all attack bots, only then attack nations, and after no bots or nations are around you, you can start hunting for enemy players. Now, we're not going to have many players in this map, at least in your immediate vicinity. But in any normal game, once you're done, or even while you're attacking bots, you'll start seeing enemy players around you. You should just try to ignore them, even if they're attacking you. Some people, some not clever players, will try to attack you, even if there are bots around. Just ignore them. Make sure you put some defense posts if possible. You should still focus on getting as many cities as you can, of course, but like set up a defense post or two so that you slow them down, and keep on attacking bots. I've won so many early games just by ignoring people attacking me, you won't believe it. So,
Should I accept alliance with France?
never accept alliances with NPCs. NPCs are worse than the worst player in the map.
Okay.
Well, actually, not really.
Especially France.
Yeah, especially France. Fuck France. But NPCs are never worthy of your alliances. You should only try to ally with your neighbors that are strong enough. Like, you can see that they built a city, they built a second city. Yeah, sure, you can ally them. Or if they have a lot of troops, basically. Other than that, you should never really ally anybody around you as soon as the game starts, because a lot of people like doing that. As soon as you start a game, you see there's a player next to you, you send an alliance request. That's not a good idea. What if that player, who's right next to you, is very weak? Since you allied with him, you cannot really take them out unless you betray. And the thing about betrayals is that they give you a defense debuff. Around 25%, I believe. you're basically just a lot weaker during the duration of the attack debuff. Or, sorry, the betrayer debuff. So, you should probably try and not betray people unless you can see that there's like no way you're gonna be losing the fight or something, right?
I thought it was 50%.
Maybe 50, maybe, I don't know. I think, I remember a YouTuber talked about this. I think it was, or used to be, 25%, but then they buffed it to 50 or something. I don't know. But basically, never ally weak players, especially if they're your neighbors, and never ally bots. Other than that, alliances...
The game tells you in chat when you betray. Pretty sure I saw 50%.
Sure, could be. I don't know. I don't know have all the numbers. But anyways, now that you're done with, you're probably done with bots, so you should try and focus on weaker NPCs, especially if you can see that the NPCs are attacking somebody else. Let's say they have low troops, they have no... well, no troops, basically, that's what I was trying to get at. Because I especially increased the number of NPCs in this map specifically so that you could see quite clearly the difference between the two. And your goal in like the entire duration of the game is to just expand, expand, expand as much as you can, as quickly as you can. Because somebody else will be expanding quicker than you, and then you will be just meat for them. The main focus, again, is to make sure you have as much cities as possible, but you should not neglect economy, meaning factories, and factories need to be built around cities and around ports. Factories connect to both ports and cities and start sending trains between the cities and the ports, and every train that passes a city or a port gives you some money. You also get more money if you trade with other players, especially if they're your allies. I believe that's like a 50% increase. You get, instead of 10k, you get like 20 or 30k per train if you're trading with an ally. So a good thing to make sure to do is to make sure that you have your factories next to cities, especially if you have like a large blob of cities, just place a factory or two around there. Another good way of getting money as well is to do piracy. Now what that means is, if there are ports in the game, you'll notice that there are these little tiny trade ships floating about. They go from port to port. The further the distance, the more money that the ship earns. However, if it gets close enough to an enemy ship, the enemy ship will attack the trade ship and capture it, and then the trade ship will be under your command if that's your warship that caught the enemy trade ship. And it will come back to your port, and once it does, you'll basically steal money from the other player. That's called piracy. And it's a very smart thing to do, especially in heavy trade areas. You'll notice, for example, that the Baltic Sea between Scandinavia and the Baltic states has a lot of trade ships going by. So that's a good idea to get a couple of warships there to steal some trade. You will not be stealing trade from your allies, by the way, so keep that in mind. So you might...
If you play Somalia, will they get a piracy buff? Makes you wonder.
They should, but they don't. You should probably write a letter to the developers asking why Somalia doesn't get a trade bonus. Or piracy bonus, that is. But in my experience, it's usually best to have cities like you build 3 cities and 1 economy building, somewhere around that. And when you're building buildings, cities or ports or factories or any kind of building, you should try to separate them as much as you can, but not too far, because you do still need your factories to do the work, right? The reason behind not stacking buildings, as it's called, where you build multiple buildings in the same place, you'll see a number pop up next to the building saying that there's like 2 or 3 cities there, right? The problem is that it's prime targeting for nuclear bombs. And so you try to build cities all around the place, but not too far, again, so that your factories would be able to reach them. And I think that kind of covers the basics.
Fucking whales.
Fucking whales. At some point in the mid-game, you should start thinking about building a couple of SAMs and 1 or 2 or maybe 3. At the beginning, it's fine to just have 1 missile silo and 1 or 2 SAMs to protect your most densely built areas. Since nukes are a big part of the game, and you will probably get nuked at some point. Chris, you're kind of overextending. So, let's see how y'all are doing. So Zarkus, 3 SAMs this early are probably a little bit of a waste because they do cost 3 mil each, and that's like 3 cities for 1 SAM. But it is good to be protected. We have Chris, who is trying to fight the Russian Federation and currently losing. Hakon to the north.
Sweden stole all my buildings.
Oh, yeah, you can see that the Sweden has 37 cities. Yeah, I need to probably cut Sweden down a little. Let's see. Since polar bears are a lot weaker, and you can pretty much gauge how strong the enemy is by just basically the amount of cities they got, because in the end, it's all about troop count. So you can see that polar bears, for example, and you also have the Republic of Finland. They have not many troops, and if I were you, Hakon...
Shit, I'm getting gangbanged by 3 big-ass bots.
Let me actually help you with that a little. I'm gonna nuke Russians a little bit. Try to hold off. 1 nuke there. So yeah, Hakon, back to you. So you should probably try and focus on Finland and on the polar bears before you focus on Sweden. Usually the bots don't actually show that much aggression on their own. Bots are usually quite
Where do
quite
the fucking
neutral.
polar bears get troops from?
Oh, it's not troops, it's all bears. So Hakon, you're being pushed by Finland. Finland only has 30k troops. I would suggest pushing back and just destroying Finland, grabbing the cities that they got. What do we have next? Pikapik. I see you're doing some piracy, that's nice. You do have the trade... The massive trade routes.
Should I upgrade my missile silo?
Pikapik, your missile silo. I don't see where it is, though. Oh, you have 1. 1 is usually enough at the beginning. You need to start worrying about multiple missile silos if you're fighting against people that have SAMs. If an enemy has 1 SAM, you have 2 silos, you break the SAM, because SAM can only take out 1 missile before it has to reload for quite a long duration. Now you are surrounded by whales. In this situation, I would actually suggest to ally with whales and start building up your economy, which you're doing a good job of. As you can see that there's a lot of trade being stolen by you, but whales is destroying your warships. So allying with whales will make sure that you can safely steal all the other trade from all around the place, basically, right? Zarkus is doing really well. A lot of buildings, a lot of troops, a lot of SAMs, and a couple of silos. You have Libya next to you. That seems like a good place to just, you know, gobble it up. And... wait, where's Chris? Oh, Chris has a little bit of an island there. Can I actually send you things? No. Okay, so Harkon is being pushed by the bears. Let me help you out a little by nuking both the bears and the Swedes. Again, a quick reminder, if you are neighboring like enemy factions and whatever, you should probably not attack the nuked land. However, nuked land is a very good way for you to get into some region, especially if like an ally gets nuked or something. You just boat into the nuked land and you're gonna have like a spot, a pixel, where you could start attacking from in the future. So you can see, Harkon, that Polar Bears is attacking the nuked land. It is diminishing their troops very heavily, and that gives you a lot more room to maneuver. They're going to be a lot weaker. Yeah, I would not suggest to attack the nuke land there. Also, it seems like you sent a big boat. One thing to remember always is whenever you're sending boats, make sure you set your troop number or your troop percentage to 0 or to 1. And then send 1% boats. Because the boats can be taken down by enemy ships. And when that happens, you're losing all the troops that were on the ship. And so if you send like a 30% ship, you're losing 30% of your troops. And that's a big bad. Looks like Pikapik is building up. You still have a little bit of a gap with power between you and Wales. You are allied currently, so my suggestion for you would be to look for areas to boat into. For example, you can see that between England and France, there's a little bit of an island held by Scotland. That's just free real estate for you. Then also there's the England nation, which is, well, around England. You could try boating there to get some more land, some more troops, some more good stuff. And basically just, you know, you're looking for areas for you to expand into that would not be your immediate neighbor, because your neighbor is extremely strong. Looks like Zarkos is pushing all the way to through the northern Africa and into the Arab area, whatever it's called. Syrian Arab Republic seems weak enough. Okay, Polar Bears should be weak enough for you to take them on, Hakon. Although Serbia is pushing in with 43 cities. Try to keep your troops above the 25% mark, which is, I believe, when it starts to slow down your troop count. Like I mentioned, the orange part of your troop regeneration. Because if it's below that point, basically, the less troops you have, the slower your troops regenerate. Up to a certain point, which I believe is 25%, which is when the troop regeneration starts to slow down. And that's, if you're fighting somebody, you should always try to keep your troop number around that point, where it's still regenerating as fast as it possibly can and not slowing down. Alright, so Hakon, you do have borders with Serbia. I'm gonna try and weaken them a little, so that they're not too scary to deal with, right? But your goal should probably be the same as with Pikapik. Look for areas where you can still attack. For example, England is a very easy land for you to grab. They have only 70k troops, and you'll be getting like 3 cities, a silo, a factory, and all that good shit, right? And your goal is to get more powerful than Serbia. Serbia has 45 cities, but it is attacking something. Oh, it's attacking the nuked land that I just created for it. So if you see that your troops are like at least 50% more than Serbia, you could start thinking about attacking them. But there's a couple of things for you to consider. One of them, of course, is the fact that if Serbia is attacking and they have like, let's say, 200,000 troops attacking somewhere. If their attack finishes, they're going to regenerate those troops. They're going to come back. And if that happens, your attacks will be a lot less effective. And another thing to consider is how much money Serbia has. They currently have 9 million. That's quite a few bombs that they could drop on you. And so, you either need to be ready for those bombs, or you need to attack fast enough to make sure that these bombs are ineffective, that they do not do anything to you. One good way of doing that is, of course, either nuking their silos first, if you can do that quickly, or attacking, let's say, like they built a silo next to you. Then you just click on them, then you take their silo. They're not going to be able to launch any attacks. Or you look for other avenues of expansion. For example, Wales seems to be quite weak right now, so you could try boating into Wales and attacking them before Pikapik does that. Pikapik, you can also see Zarkos is pushing Wales, so that would be your cue to start attacking them as well. If you're not allied. If you are, then, you know, betrayers, yeah, that's what I was getting at. Because right now with a 50% debuff or whatever it is, Zarkos could just stomp over you. He has 1 million troops, while you have only 200k, so if he just clicks you, you'll be gone in a second. And, well, that's mainly the reason why you should probably not ally bots, but in your situation it was very difficult to do anything else.
So Zarkos don't attack.
Yeah, we're friendly here, right? So, Serbia is a little bit scary.
Please.
Let's reduce
Fuck ass
their...
polar bears is shit on.
Chris is still fighting polar bears. I'm gonna weaken Serbia a little bit more. If you see that
Yeah,
their
I'm mostly
troop count,
trying to help him.
if you see that the Serbian troop count is low enough, try attacking them.
Use AI to melt them.
Oh yeah, AI to melt polar bears. Oh my god, that's so on the nose. That's not good. We also have a little bit of a Russian Federation bot over here. I'm gonna grab him really quick. And Russia's gone. So, Haakon, now is your chance. If you're not allied with Serbia... Actually, if you're allied with them, fuck it. Betray them and attack them. We're not gonna attack you back, I don't think. But Serbia has only 200k troops, while you have 600k. You have 3 times their troops. So your attacks now will be very effective. Actually, they're regenerating really quickly. They still have 46 cities. So it's not as quick as it could be, but I'm gonna keep Serbia down, and also Zarkos is attacking Serbia, so they will be on the back end for quite a while. There we go. While you're attacking, you can see there's a lot of rivers. The button B for Bravo, or for boat, will send you a boat. That's a very easy way of sending boats. Just target on an enemy like behind a river, click B, and you'll keep attacking over the river. Also, you're full sending, Harkon. That's probably the worst thing you could do. Now you can see Sweden is taking that.
Don't full send.
Yeah, never full send. Full sending means sending all of your troops. What that does to you is, first of all, you're left open for any attacks like polar bears and Sweden does. And second of all, your troops will be very slow to regenerate. Because again, the less troops you have, the slower your troops will regenerate. You need to try and keep your troops around the 20% mark, which is when they start slowing down. And anything above that, you would use to attack. Right? Also, this is a good lesson to always finish off the bots. If a bot has a single pixel, you will probably hear of them if they get enough power. So your current objective should be to take out Kingdom of Sweden and polar bears, including those islands that you left open, and forget about Serbia for a little while. Now, Zarkus is currently controlling most of the southern part of the map. Pikapik, you seem to be slowly pushing whales. So this is again the same thing. Rivers completely halt your attack. Troops do not cross rivers if you don't tell them to. So whenever you're attacking an enemy that's full of rivers, you would always try to boat over the river as soon as you reach one end of the shore, right? Let's say I start attacking Serbia. If you look at my geographical position, I have a lot of rivers on my way towards the Serbian mainland. So if I click on Serbia, I'll start boating everywhere I can to speed up my attacks. Otherwise, my troops will try to walk around the rivers, or if there's no way to walk around them, they'll just stop attacking. And if I attack, I want my attacks to be quick, decisive, and to the point, immediately destroying as much land as possible, helping me and weakening the enemy. Chris is trying to nuke something. A little island nuke, I guess. Boom. Nice. So, what do we have? What's the situation? What's the sit rep? TPA is attacking Wales in England. Harkon is actually pushing back the bots and is on his way to conquer most of Scandinavia. In this situation, Harkon, in your position, what I would do is I would destroy polar bears completely. And what I mean by that is try and capture all the islands that polar bears hold. Otherwise, he's just going to keep stealing your trade and harassing you with his warships and with his naval attacks. There's also the England bot that has not much cash. But
my boats gets destroyed by Serbia.
Your boats, you mean transport ships, probably. Let me see. Serbia does not seem to have any warships. Oh, I see. You're sending boats to England, but there's a Kingdom of Sweden warship that's shooting them down, right? So when that happens, you send a warship or two. Usually you send as many warships as the enemy has, plus one. Usually a warship will destroy a warship and get destroyed at the same point. So you send one extra to make sure that your warships win. Well, 4 is a little bit excessive, but it will definitely hold the line. And you can see now that your ships are stealing trade from me and from other bots. And they're coming back to your port, so basically you're getting piracy cash. And there we go. Now most of the bots are gone. Let me just yoink Serbia, because I see that Zarkos is pushing, and I would like to have some more land myself, if you don't mind. By the way, Zarkos is probably going to win the game. He has 100 million. That's going to be a couple of Mervs here and there, and we're all done. But anyways, looks like that's most of the bots. We still have the USSR there. So if you look at me attacking USSR, as soon as I reach a river, I send a boat to make sure that my attacks continue, so that I finish him off ASAP.
Ah, I struggle in the end part.
Yeah, me too.
When missiles start, I lose.
Same, dude, same. I don't know much about late game. Usually, I just do some sort of dumb mistake and lose the end game, and that's, you know, that's it. But from what I know, so in this case, what I would suggest as well, Zarkos, is you see that there's a couple of small islands of Croatia, for example, near Italy. The bot has a couple of cities, and he has 200k, so that's, you know, just free money. But when it comes to endgame, you pick the biggest, baddest enemy, and you try and Merv them. Merv is the number 0 on the cast bar, I guess you can call it. And the way Merv works is it launches a massive amount of missiles that can still be counteracted by SAMs. However, you need a lot of SAMs to fully be Merv proof. And by a lot, I mean like nearly 100 or so. So Mervs will, in most cases, completely cripple your enemy. However, the way to counter a Merv is, if you get a notification that you're being Merved, what you need to do is you need to full send your enemy. Now, I know we talked about not ever full sending anybody, but whenever you get Merved, your goal is to get as much land from the enemy that's Merving you as possible, to make sure that you weaken them before they start attacking you. Because the way this works is you first of all Merv, you wait for the Merv to land, and only then do you attack your enemy. Otherwise, you'll be nuking your own troops. So the person you're Merving might start full sending you before the Merv lands. And that's what the enemy that's being Merved should do. If they don't, then it's just a free win to you. Let's give a live example, Zarko. If you don't mind, go ahead and Merv me whenever you can. Or whenever you're ready, I suppose.
Okay.
There we go. Now I full send him. And I'm going to try and boat into as many places as I can, because you saw my full send was not that good because of the fact that there were a lot of rivers in the way. Now you should still wait for the Merv to land before you counterattack, but since you still had a bigger number of troops compared to me, your attack to me was very successful. However, you did full send, and now every other player is able to use that against you. Since you can see, you full sent me and all the troops were spent attacking my troops. Also Chris left, by the way. Whenever a player leaves, you're able to attack them even if they're your ally. You can see the ZZZ icon next to Chris's name, and if that happens, you just take them out. Anyways, so Hakon, you can I can see you're full sending Zarkos. Again, never full send unless you're being Merv. That's the main rule. But you also need to be boating as much as you can while you're sending, because now you can see that your attack is not as effective because your troops need to go around the boats and so on, right? And that's what usually happens when you do any kind of offensive attacks and MIRVs, especially if you full send. Everyone else around you will just eat you alive. Because again, your troops will take a long time to regenerate. Also, Chris, are you still here? I guess he got mad on polar bears and left. So, that's a lot of words about the game from me. I think that should cover the basics, I hope. Whenever you get MIRVed, whenever you get assaulted, attacked, and so on, most of your lands are taken. Usually the advice is to try and ally with as many people as I can, and hope that they will be
Take me,
infighting.
guys. My PC crashed.
Sure. Actually, he has 600k troops. I can't really take him on that easily. And I just full sent again. Whoops. So, this concludes my lesson on OpenFront 101. Do you have any questions?
I do.
And had money for a Murphy, damn it.
Yeah, no, actually you only have 9 mil, Chris. That's not enough for a Merv.
Almost.
Yeah, Kate, what question do you have?
Why are you gay?
Oh my,
I would have Murved you, Adam.
oh my god. That's typical Kate. Alright, let's see how the endgame plays out. So, Pikapik and Harkon are around half a mil troops, while Zarkus has over 1.5 mil. Now, in any normal game, you would likely try to ally together and focus on the big guy.
Kate, is the pillow around?
Actually, it isn't.
It is.
Oh, it is? No, no pillows. Harkon. Try not to attack the nuked land if possible, especially when you're at an active war. You should only try to attack the nuked land if you don't have any borders with any enemy factions. Because now you spent a lot of troops taking over land that's not going to give you any major benefits. And that opens your cheeks up to an attack by, let's say in this case, Zarkus. Now, if I was in either Hakon's or Pikapik's position, I would probably try to put as many defense posts as I can, possibly between me and Zarkus, ally with the other player, and try to cripple Zarkus as much as I can. And by that I mean nuking all the infrastructure I could. However, there are a lot of SAMs. The way to breach a SAM is to either launch a hydrogen
was
bomb.
the coolest guy in this game. He friended me.
Wait. I completely forgot. Where's the future man? What was he? He was in the game, right? We have Chris, Pika, Hakon, and Zarkus, and me. Oh, I guess the Fujima had to go or something, right? I haven't seen anything from him for a while.
In playing with you.
I did too.
Yeah, but not the Fujima. He's probably out. Okay, well, anyways. I think we're good to go, right? Let's see if we can pull off a miracle here, yeah?
Zarku's top 1 coolest. Friended me randomly when he was the strongest. Then Haken and Adam last, cause he rejected my alliance so many times. Cuck.
I did not reject them, I just wouldn't accept them. Yeah, I don't think there's any way for us to win against Zarkus right now. He has 191 cities. That's more cities than all of us combined. Oh, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna grab a wee break and
GG.
let's see what else we can do.